can work it out. 'Cause giving in is oh so hard when love is at stake. Where there's a will, there's a way. Now if we only knew how. Learning to love, learning to laugh and fear, learning to fight through these years that bring us closer together. Learning to love, learning the first golden rule, knowing that anything is possible. 'Cause nothing's gonna keep us from, nothing's gonna keep us from learning the ropes.
What is up, all you beautiful people out there? And I do apologize you're having to deal with my ugly mug right now, but as you all know, XLJ, the OG, is taking a little bit of a break because he's got some personal stuff going on. Our thoughts and prayers are with you, good sir. But don't worry, it's not going to be just 2 hours of me just talking by myself. That would get boring. I don't even think I would want to listen to that. I mean, my wife complains about it all the time that I talk too much, but you know, it is what it is. I am Mr. Broll, and you are here watching Learning the Ropes. Thank you for joining us. And we know only one way to start learning the ropes here, and that is with a little bit of a plug-a-palooza. And I don't have the cool sound effect board, so I'm gonna do my own wah, 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 something like that. I guess I don't know, but yeah, the cool sound effect board. That's all XLJ, the OG stuff. All right, so doing a quick plug-a-palooza real quick. Do have to announce, don't get too sad, but we are going to take a little bit of a break from learning the ropes, just because we have so much good stuff coming here in the coming months. We'll be going to All Out, so there'll be tons of exclusive vlogs from that weekend. Plus, we'll be covering a lot of the wrestling that's coming during the month of August. So we're just going to take a little bit of a break from learning the ropes just for a little bit, and then we'll be coming back right around the time All In starts. And also right around that time, we are going to be celebrating our YouTube Cold TV second birthday celebration. Let's go. We also have to think about here, this night is kind of a celebration too, because although we were originally on Sunday nights, then we moved to Thursdays, but it has now kind of officially been like a year-ish of learning the ropes. So there we go. Technically, it wouldn't be till Sunday, but hey, a win is a win. A win is a win. So, with that being said, I think it's time to bring some guests on. We've done all the house cleaning stuff. We'll do another plug-a-palooza at the end, just in case I screwed anything up and forgot it. Let's go ahead and bring our guest on. He hails not from Green Bay, Wisconsin, but he is the man, he is the myth, he is the legend, Macho Man Slim Jim, Randy Stapp.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad that he was able to join us.
Oh, I ruined it. No, I didn't, brother.
Pull the curtain back. The Wrestle Talk Drip God himself. Hambone is here.
What's up?
And he is going to keep.
Where's Dad Hat at? Dad Hat is so angry right now.
He's watching. He's watching, I think. If this is him, World Championship Wreckage, friend of the show. You know.
What's going on, brother?
If you know, you know. I'm doing okay. Had a little bit of a wacky day, but it's going to be okay. We're going to spend a little bit of time talking about some wrestling with some good people. And speaking of good people, I dare say that this man right here may be the most positive person in all of Wrestle Talk. And I'm talking about none other than JB Wrestling. Let's go, baby!
Let's go, baby! Let's go. I can only stay on for an hour today because I got to take care of the kids, so I'll talk as much as I can today.
It is all good. We completely.
What's up, Hambone? What's up, my brother? What's up,
man?
B-Roll?
How you doing?
You know, get ready for SummerSlam. I cannot wait. you know,
Let's go.
let's go get fired up.
All right. And tonight we're going to be taking a look at the history of SummerSlam, but we do have one more very special guest to come on, none other than our good friend Extreme League Wrestling. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Everyone needs to remember tomorrow night to put out your cigarettes and bud for Kid Rock. Because SummerSlam's in Detroit, baby. Which lighter do you think he's going to want? I got a Cobra one with flames. I got a Dice one. This seems very Kid Rock. Or just plain black. Whatever Kid wants. And let's please not crash zoom on him making out with someone in the front row. Just for my own stomach, because I'm planning on eating a gross amount of Wingstop.
You could put out like your homophobia and your transphobia for him too. It'll bring him right in.
I don't have that in this house, sir.
Oh, mercy. Remember, I don't normally host, so I don't know how to reel y'all in. So this is going to get crazy.
What do I do with my hands?
Let's absolute
go.
wreck.
Without further ado, I think we have to get into the history of SummerSlam. We are going 2011 to present day. Yes, present day, because we are going to try to talk a little bit about the upcoming one, if time shall allow. So taking a look at the 2011, man, this kind of makes me feel old, and I wasn't even a wrestling fan at this time, but the fact that these people were like the stars at this time, I'm like, oh man, I'm getting kind of old. So we take a look at this card. Started off with a 6-man tag team match with Kofi Kingston, John Morrison, and Rey Mysterio defeating The Miz, R-Truth, and Alberto Del Rio. Also taking a look, we had Mark Henry versus Sheamus, Kelly versus Beth Phoenix, Wade Barrett versus Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton versus Christian, CM Punk versus John Cena, and then maybe, just maybe something else may have happened that I have a feeling may be the topic of discussion. What do y'all remember about this SummerSlam?
So before we get into the thing I know we're all going to talk about, and rightfully so, looking back on it, Christian and Randy Orton really had one of the most underrated feuds, I think, of all time. Like with Edge vacating the belt of that year's Mania, and then it culminated in this like no holds barred match. Really, like Randy and Christian were just putting in the work for WWE whenever they had certain text messages and trash people winning titles that I wish we could all frankly forget about.
What says you, Hambone?
Yeah, I mean, I think I know exactly what Extreme League is talking about when he said the thing we're all going to talk about. But outside of that, the only memorable thing, you know, for me, for this SummerSlam is Christian and Randy Orton, especially, you know, mostly what led up to this match. You know, the match right before Christian won the world title because he spit in Randy Orton's face and got him to kick him in the balls and get disqualified. And Christian had put a clause for the match that if Randy got disqualified, he won the title. So I remember that leading up to this, and then this, you know, after this, Christian, you know, drops the title again to Randy. And then I think after this is when we got the whole one more match thing. So that's the main thing I remember outside of the main thing we're going to talk about.
And before we get to that main thing just yet, now you guys, you got to bear with me, and you got to remember that I wasn't a fan at the time. I mean, Mark Henry versus Sheamus, that seems like it would have been like a slobber knocker. But by count out?
Yeah, I mean, it had a creative finish at the end, too. But, again, most of these matches that you're talking about, they didn't really have any storyline going into them or anything like that. So this is at a weird time, man. A lot of this stuff is forgettable because they just weren't putting a lot of effort into storylines. A lot of it was just people, you know, winning tournaments or something to get, you know, a title shot or something like that, other than the main two matches that were at the top. So
yeah,
a lot of the stuff is kind of forgettable at the time.
Yeah, that is what my good friend Hambone. Don't know if you met him. He kind of told me that, and he's just the man. He's just wait, he's right there. He's right under me. But
I got notes. All these notes.
all these
5
notes.
pages of notes here.
He's prepared.
Looking like Meltzer there, buddy, with all the notes.
How dare you?
But it didn't take place in the Tokyo Dome, so he's not giving it 5 stars.
It's -5 stars.
Snap or nothing.
But Justin, what do you remember from this SummerSlam?
Oh, that was a SummerSlam when Cena versus who did Cena fight? I forgot who was it. Punk?
Yes,
It was Punk, yes.
It was Punk, right, for the belt, I believe.
Yeah,
It was for title. I feel like that was a good match. And him blowing a kiss at Vince. I mean, that's the only thing I remember that was like, oh my God moment. Like, he's leaving with the belt and him not, saying, oh my God, is this like for real? He's leaving WWE to go to another wrestling organization. But I have to agree with Hambone about the whole Christian and Orton. I feel like that feud could have gone a little longer because it would have been more like really awesome to see more matches, like maybe in a steel cage match or like I Quit match, a Hell in a Cell, like even the Sheamus and Mark Henry. That they could have they didn't make no feud for that. They just put that really together on the card. So if they would have like made the feud, going into that match, I think it would have been a better storyline instead of like just mushing it on that card.
yes. So, and I have a feeling we're going to catch an overall theme of that. Of some of it's just kind of wonky, but we teased it. Let's talk about it.
Now, I know that both Extreme League and I will never forget this SummerSlam because we walked away very angry, both of us, seeing as we're both CM Punk marks at the end of this bullshit pay-per-view. After the best Money in the Bank ever, where CM Punk walks out, and then we get this BS Punk versus Cena. Punk wins, and then out comes Kevin Nash.
I really don't wish harm among any wrestler at all. They put their bodies on the line every day. But damn it, I want that man to pull a quad while he's walking to the ring. It's like, okay, hurt a quad now, please. Hurt a quad now. I've never seen so much fighting over texting since middle school, I swear. Like,
let's be honest. Let's be honest. Kevin Nash, not even the worst part of this.
It's really not. And that's the weird thing. So, like, I would like to have a visual representation for you all, if I could. Here we have CM Punk walking out of Money in the Bank 2011. They have the world in his hands. They're having the unification match with John Cena and CM Punk. And allow me to have the first ceremonial drop into the ball. It's like you had Marshawn on the 1 yard line. You have it there. Just have CM Punk win, and then we move on. And then even then, when Alberto Del Rio cashes in, it doesn't even matter because Punk gets it back like right away. It's like what was the point? What was the point of any of this? I'm missing the point. Here's the point. It's not there. It's gone.
You know what's even worse? It's not only did CM Punk get beaten for the title for basically no reason, but it's by one of the worst WWE champions in history of all time. Alberto Del Rio's got to be top 10 worst world champions of all time in WWE. Gotta be.
I agree with you on that, Hambone. I agree with you on that, Hambone, because I feel like when Alberto Del Rio was champion, who did he defend it against? Really, nobody. Nobody.
No.
I'm not being biased. I'm being for real. Like, Alberto didn't he was not a good champion. And I agree with you, Hambone.
Yeah. Now,
Hero, I know that you weren't a fan at this time, but I'm assuming, obviously, since we're going over this, you went over the cards, but you don't know a lot of the storylines, right? You just know what the cards are from reading them, correct?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Yeah, that's why you're here, Hambo.
All right,
That's
so
the whole
You know
gimmick
about
of
the
the
pipe
show
bomb.
is me learning.
right.
That's
So you
the
know
gimmick.
about the pipe bomb promo, right?
Yep.
Okay, so then what we get the next month at SummerSlam is CM Punk versus Cena in a rematch, and then we start getting CM Punk starts getting up until SummerSlam. He starts getting these weird text messages on his phone. Right? Doesn't know who they're from. So Alberto Del Rio has won the Money in the Bank. Yeah, Money in the Bank. One of the two, because at the time they were doing two of them. So he goes in, has his match with Cena. He beats Cena. And afterwards, he gets attacked by Kevin Nash. And Kevin Nash comes out, beats him up, power bombs him. Kevin Nash is the one who's been sending him these text messages. So after he power bombs him, out comes Alberto Del Rio and cashes in Money in the Bank. And we close SummerSlam. After the hottest angle that WWE had done in a long time with the pipe bomb promo, we close SummerSlam walking out with Alberto Del Rio as champion.
Little do you know, Handbone, that's just the power bomb that was the biggest draw in WWF history when he was champion, if you'll believe Kevin Nash.
Oh.
So I love Kevin Nash. I'm never going to talk crap about Kevin Nash, but Alberto Del Rio.
Oh yeah, we'll go in on him. That's fine. So
Yeah.
funny thing. This time last year, I made a video on my YouTube channel about like the worst SummerSlam moments, and I think I had mentioned Alberto Del Rio or something, and I called it like I saw it. I told people how I felt about it. It was I think he's a point of sale, if you get me. And then someone was in my comments saying, "Well, I love his work. You're the POS," and I'm like, "Cool, bro. I've never done half the things I think he's done, but sure, if you wanna ride that man's knob, I mean, go right ahead."
Listen, all I'm saying is that man is the only man I've ever heard say I'm a fan of Alberto Del Rio's work. So I feel like that says everything that needs to be said about it.
Well, there you go.
There you go. And I always, like, when you get those type of comments, extremely, I always kind of looked at it like, hey, I must be doing something right because I'm poking the trolls. I'm poking the trolls.
Exactly. Thanks for bringing up my engagement, dickhead. You're gonna drive my video to more people. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. But yeah, thank you, Hambo, for that because I would not have really known what was going on, and that's part of the beautiful part about this show, though. Now, at this point, I think we maybe just need to cancel the rest of what we're going over and have a therapy session for this terrible cash in, for this terrible ending to a SummerSlam. But no.
Listen, as a CM Punk mark like Extreme League and I are, we need a lot of therapy sessions.
I need a lot of therapy sessions from the 2012 Summerfest. Everyone should have been banned. And it's just filming of an empty Staples Center for about 3 hours. That would have made the SummerSlam better. It's like the what was it, like the halftime heat with the Rock and Mankind. Yeah. Just do that, but there's no wrestlers.
Hey, that match is pretty cool. I like that Rock and Mankind. That was a pretty good fight. I like that.
So coming into 2012, look at that beautiful face of Brock Lesnar. Face only a mother could love. But taking a look, again, I'll just run down the card and go about, what you guys remember, what you liked, what you dig. And then Hambone with his expert analysis, or any of you all, will educate me. It's because that's what we do here. So taking a look at the card, we see Chris Jericho versus Dolph Ziggler. Daniel Bryan versus Kane. Is this before or after they were a tag team?
This is before.
Yeah, this is before Team Hell No, yeah.
Okay. The Miz versus Rey Mysterio. That was for the Intercontinental Championship. Sheamus versus... I'm scared if we say his name again, like it's gonna summon him or something. Like I don't know.
There's so much Alberto Del Rio at this time.
Yeah,
and I don't understand why.
Unnecessary amount of Alberto Del Rio during these years.
Well, Sheamus versus Alberto Del Rio for the World Heavyweight Championship. Kofi Kingston and R-Truth defeated the Prime Time Players, Darren Young and Titus O'Neil. Now, I know who Titus O'Neil is. I don't know who Darren Young is. I'll go ahead and I'll just go ahead.
Do you know who Fred Rosser is in New Japan?
Yes.
Same
Okay.
That's Darren Young.
Okay. I would have hated that tag team, I think.
The only time I found either of them entertaining actually was when they were together.
Okay, well maybe I would like maybe if I would have saw them as a tag team, I would like each of the individual a little more.
I was actually just about to say I love Fred Rosser and in JPW. I think he's doing his best work he's ever done. Titus O'Neil's best work is when he slid under that ring for the Greatest Royal Rumble. Chef's kiss.
I don't know. I don't have anything against either of them, but they just not my. They don't do it for me. Not invested. But then we also had CM Punk versus The Big Show and John Cena, and we had Brock Lesnar versus Triple H in a no disqualification match. Fellas, spill the tea here.
This is still very much like, I feel like, universe mode WWE, to where Vince is just wondering about one or two feuds in his like my GM mode, and then he's like, whatever, just randomize everything. Sure, Alberto Del Rio and Sheamus for the world title. Sure, whatever. It's not Brock, not Cena. Don't care.
Yeah. For me, the most interesting thing that's happening for this SummerSlam is the stuff that is happening with Daniel Bryan and Kane. So let's talk about what's happening up to it, B-roll. Daniel Bryan had proposed to AJ Lee. He wanted to marry her. So she accepted, and they were supposed to get married on Raw 1000. But during the ceremony, AJ comes out and she rejects Daniel Bryan. So he goes on and he destroys the whole, set and whatever. And then he has a weird confrontation with Charlie Sheen.
I was hoping
you guest host at the time.
I was hoping you were going to say,
is this the guest GM era?
Yes.
Oh God, I tried to forget.
No, we were getting guest hosts because what actually happened after this was AJ was appointed the general manager, and she makes this match between Daniel Bryan and Kane because she finds out that before Daniel Bryan had proposed to her, he was planning to have her committed to a psychological center. So that's what's happening in this storyline.
Man.
And then we get Kane and Daniel Bryan. And then after this, that's when we start to see like the vignettes of them going to therapy together, and then they become a tag team. But yeah, that's the genesis of of Team Hell No. There's all that stuff happening beforehand.
Okay. Well, at least Kane wasn't trying to be creepy and try to marry her, right? Or because that was Lita, right?
Well,
it's always a possibility with Kane. It's always there. It's always kind of there. It's just like it's lurking in the background, much like Alberto Del Rio. It's like, is Kane going to force a woman to marry him? Maybe not. Well,
never know.
He might kidnap you and marry you. I mean, come on.
I feel like that's true for both men, honestly.
Tomato. Oh, but anything else, from this card really stick out to you? Stick out to y'all?
The WWE had this weird disorder for some time to where they said, "Is there a championship match? Put the Big Show in there to eat the pin." And that's kind of because there's no reason for the Big Show to be in the Punk Cena match. There's absolutely no reason for him to be there, but he's there.
Well, I did like the finish to that match though, because they did a whole thing where Punk had Big Show in the
the attitude adjustment.
No. Punk's submission.
Oh, the Anaconda
Yeah,
Vice.
the Anaconda Vice. And then Cena had him in the STF, and Big Show taps out. So who wins? So they end the match, and then AJ Lee comes out and restarts the match, and CM Punk basically just throws Cena out of the ring, and he goes and covers Big Show for an easy win.
Storytelling. And this is back in the day too of like having to pay like what $60 for SummerSlam. And good times. And then also you get to pay to watch Triple H give himself self-fellatio.
Yeah.
Essentially by like, look how cool I am. I'm wrestling Brock Lesnar for reasons. I'm so cool. I'm not old. Please like me.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that. This is 10 years ago. He's what, 40? 45 maybe? He's AJ Styles' age now. I'm not going to go that far. We all love Papa H now.
Yeah.
If you're watching, I still want a job, so.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, listen, like, I'm not saying I dislike Triple H's work. I actually think his last WWE title run, the one where he won it from Roman at the Royal Rumble, is probably, in my opinion, his best WWE title run. I know that's probably a bit of a hot take, but I don't know. For me personally, Brock and Triple H have never clicked a lot like Brock and Cena or Brock and Punk or Brock and Undertaker. To me, they, like, on paper, yes, this should be great. But for my personal sensibilities, I'm just not crazy about the two men working together. And for me, it hasn't really worked either at Mania or at SummerSlam. It just, it seems a bit lumbering, and they don't have that spark that the aforementioned men had.
Yeah. For a second there, I thought you were going to say Brock and Cody. But I don't know that. I think you could toss that into the conversation as well, but time will tell. Justin, you got anything to add for this one for SummerSlam?
My favorite match of the whole card would have to be the Miz versus Rey Mysterio
for the Intercontinental.
Yep. I think that was one of the best matches on the card. They went out there and just, I feel like, stole the show. It was a great match.
Yep.
I have to give that a 10-star match.
All right. Well, this graphic just looks like tons of fun.
This looks like something I made in Canva and just like never wanted to show anyone. This looks like a very much like Extreme League Wrestling like version 1 thumbnail that I look at. And then
this is a draft that's been sitting there for months.
I worked on this for 2 hours, decided it was crap, and then restarted.
This is what happens when like Vince is sitting there playing like my GM mode as well as Roller Coaster Tycoon.
My main question is, okay, sure. Everyone mildly looks like they're on a roller coaster, but Kane's smiling, and that bothers me.
That's true. I didn't. It is unsettling.
It's unsettling. Like he's mid-shart. That's what this is giving, and then it's hitting everyone at a different time frame.
He just farted. It's the second after, and he's waiting to see if anybody notices.
Punk
Look at AJ Lee. She's scared of Dolph Ziggler. She's like, "Oh my God, you got me next to Dolph Ziggler."
And also, I love the safety of this roller coaster because, as you know, when you ride a roller coaster, you ideally kind of want to be overlapping with the person you're sitting next to for just the best secureness. And also, you want to be like half off your seat like this. You don't keep your hands and arms inside the vehicle at all times. Great safety.
We are taking some interesting side quests tonight.
Well, look at Daniel Bryan. He's like, yes, I finally got deodorant. I smell good next to CM Punk and Kane.
You thought we were here to talk about wrestling? No, we're here to roast WWE graphic design.
Right. My graphic design skills are so much better. I swear.
Graphic design is my passion.
And the Bella Twins like, yeah, I get a selfie,
Well, I guess I've been on the last one I skipped what the pre-show match was, but I mean
the pre-show doesn't matter.
Well, but this one does. This next one does though. Because it has my guy.
Oh yeah.
It has my guy. My guy.
All your guy did was win a battle royal to get on this card.
But we love him for that. We love him for that. I'm high on Rob Van Dam, damn it.
Me too. And man, I marked out last night. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Hambone checked on me, make sure I was okay, make sure I was still breathing.
I knew.
Like I didn't hyperventilate or anything, and I was.
I am going to show my age here. Rob Van Dam versus John Cena at a One Night Stand is probably one of my favorite matches of all time.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Justin.
I have to take off, but thank you again for having me on. I gotta go get my daughter from the babysitter, but thank you guys for having me on. B-roll, thank you. Hambone, thank you for everything you guys do. Let's go, baby. It's SummerSlam. Thank you guys for having me on the podcast. I appreciate all of you guys. Keep up the good work. Thank you again. I hope.
Can you give us a super quick plug for anything you got going, whether it's your podcast, your TikTok, whatever, just real quick.
All right, I'm going to do this for you guys. What's up, Wrestle Talk? It's me, JB Wrestling Fan for Life. Make sure you give Hambone a follow. Make sure you give my buddy down here a follow. Make sure you give Mr. B-Roll, and of course, the XOG on TikTok, Facebook, you name it. Get fired up. It's SummerSlam this Saturday. Let's go, baby! Yeah! So, Huge Pop Wrestling, I'm part of that family. So, make sure you follow Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast. We do a podcast Sundays, Mondays, Thursdays, you name it. Make sure you follow Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast. Thank you again for having me on. JB Wrestling Fan for Life. I appreciate all of you guys. Keep up the good work.
JB Wrestling Fan for Life. Out.
Out. Later, guys.
See ya, man.
All right. That man, I don't know how he gets his energy, but man, oh man. But yes, like he said, make sure you go follow Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast. Make sure you go follow him on the Tiki Talkie. Like we said, he's one of the most positive people you will meet, and everyone needs a little bit more positivity, especially when you're talking about crappy SummerSlams in your life. Okay. Now, are we done taking apart the graphic here?
Sure.
Are we ready to talk? Okay, we're ready to talk about
I'm not done.
Yeah.
This graphic design will be better when Vince McMahon is dead. Okay, I've had enough.
the roller coaster should have had hints of blue, not yellow and orange. Okay, it's redundant. Sorry. Okay, breaking down this card. Oh, this has the Ring of Fire match. Let's go, baby.
I fell into the bad debut match.
We also have, so that was Bray Wyatt and Kane. We have Cody Rhodes versus Damian Sandow.
I missed the Rhodes Scholars.
Let's talk about that match real quick, because that match leading up to it has got to have one of the dumbest moments in a storyline I've ever seen. So, B-roll. Before this, Cody Rhodes and Damian Sandow are a tag team for a while, right? Money in the Bank comes, and Damian Sandow wins the Money in the Bank, and he also turns on Cody Rhodes in that match as well. Their tag team is done, right? So we get a couple weeks of them fighting back and forth, and then 1 week, Cody Rhodes, he goes and he steals Damian Sandow's Money in the Bank briefcase, and then he throws it into the Gulf of Mexico. And Damian Sandow is very sad about this because they make it a point to let us know that he cannot swim.
He cannot swim.
He can't swim. That's the whole thing. That's it. And then they had a match.
And WWE is incapable of making Xeroxes. No, not a copier in sight. Sorry,
there is only one copy of this contract.
Even
it can
though
never be
even
made
though we
again.
have it every year, there is a one copy of the contract.
Yep. You better hope that it makes it through every airport baggage, because if an airport loses it, you lost your match.
It's
screwed.
done. It's also notice we've never seen anyone ever like actually sign, but I feel like that kind of defeats the purpose. Like you're writing down like, oh wait, hang on. What's today's date? Hang on, cool.
That's the first thing Papa H makes them do when they come back from winning it. Is all right, sign it.
Okay, now we need a
Don't take
notary,
it out of there.
a witness. All right, great.
All right, and then we'll keep moving on to everyone's favorite one to talk about tonight, Alberto Del Rio versus
Why is he
Christian.
still here? Why are you here?
So much Alberto Del Rio.
So here's my thing. Alberto Del Rio, a man with a lot of history in Mexico. As you guys know, I live close to the American-Mexican border, and I love Mexican culture. I love, my brothers and sisters who live in my third neighbor to the south. Wonderful culture, wonderful people. How bland can you be? Truly. Because, who is Alberto Del Rio in the ring? Because I honestly don't know. And I don't know why he's being pushed so much in this era of WWE. Ignoring him as a person, just name one good Alberto Del Rio match.
I feel like WWE has always been, and this is being serious, I feel like WWE has always been desperate to get the Latino audience. And they had it with Eddie, and they had it with Ray, and they're at a point where they probably feel like they don't have it anymore. And, I feel like it's really hard for luchadors to get over in American wrestling. Rey Mysterio did it. I feel like the Lucha Brothers did it. And other than that, I feel like that's about it. Ones that really, really got over with the crowds and really transcended wrestling. That's about it. So I feel like they just weren't looking to try with a luchador. They just wanted to get a new Mexican superstar at the top. And Alberto Del Rio is who they went with. And they just kept shoving him down our throats, even though it made it obvious that, hey, this guy is no Eddie Guerrero.
And you know what, Hambone? I think this would make a really good video topic as well of how Mexican wrestling translates to the American market, because you listed some of the greatest to ever do it, and they wrestle the Mexican luchador style. I think also my thing with Alberto Del Rio is that he has more of his background in MMA, which is fine. There's ways to translate that over. I mean, look at the big Borky bastard that was on the last show poster we just had. But also, it's it's just there's nothing about him that draws me to him, like an Eddie or a Ray or a Penta or a Ray Phoenix or a Vikingo. There's nothing that draws me to him. He looks like a creator wrestler.
Right.
Very, very, very good points indeed. And yeah, that would make a good topic though for an episode. I could definitely see that.
I mean, I can tell you right now the answer to why luchadors don't get over in America. It's very simple.
Go for it.
Anybody got a guess as to why?
Is it reasons?
Because no American companies ever do anything with luchadors other than present them as, here's a Mexican guy in a mask. That's it.
Yeah, I would say that's fair.
They give them no character. They give them no meaningful storylines. It's really difficult in American wrestling to get over when you literally have nothing indistinguishable about you other than, hey, here's another Mexican guy in a mask. That's literally the entire thought process. And I feel like that is why Rey Mysterio got over, because Rey, he connected with a crowd. He did speak English very well, so he was able to cut promos. But he was always used in storylines. You got to see his personality outside of just, I'm a Mexican guy in a mask. And then you got the Lucha Brothers, who they both, even though they don't speak English as well as Rey, they both just have this it factor. They don't need to. For whatever reason, they have this it factor that I don't feel a lot of luchadors bring in. And I really feel like that is the problem. American companies just do not give them gimmicks, do not give them storylines. They're just a Mexican guy in a mask. And if that's all you got, it's hard for people to connect.
Yeah. And because there's no doubt, and we're down the rabbit hole, so we might as well keep going. There's no doubt when you watch them in ring, you're going to be entertained, but what do you? I mean, what do you remember? You don't necessarily always remember the spot. You're going to remember the story
Right.
that was ultimately told. But that is another topic for another day. We'll table it for now. Stay
Sure.
tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Coming to you soon on one of our shows.
One of them, it'll be out there somewhere. You just got to
Yeah.
check like 5 different channels. It's fine.
Yeah. It'll be all right. So also on this card, and you guys just stop me when you feel like we need to. We have Natalia versus Brie Bella. We have Brock Lesnar versus CM Punk. Dolph Ziggler, who got in the front seat of the roller coaster. Just saying. Oh, sorry, Dolph Ziggler and Caitlyn versus Big E and AJ Lee.
Yeah, that match happened.
It was the thing.
So let's talk because we glossed over a little bit. Let's talk about Punk and Lesnar, because this was CM Punk was a Paul Heyman guy, right? Extreme League at this time.
Yes,
And then Brock decided to come back, and then Paul decides to side with Brock.
Yeah, and so then Money in the Bank, he betrays him by hitting him in the head with the ladder. Brock comes back and he feuds with Brock.
And he picks Brock. And then basically right before the SummerSlam match happens, they both decide that they want a street fight. And this is one of the, and again, I'm a Punk mark, but there are a couple times where Brock Lesnar really should have lost. This is one of them. One of them. And Samoa Joe at Great Balls of Fire. Are the ones that always stick out to me.
Isn't this just the proverbial sickness of CM Punk in WWE, which is like, he should win, but he's not going to. And to be fair, then, it's like, you can make Brock look strong in defeat. Like, look at what they're doing with Cody and Brock right now. Like, you can make Brock lose, or even, like, I mean, I'm sure we're going to get there eventually, but like last year's SummerSlam. Like, you can make Brock do well in defeat, but then also like you have this big story with the greatest mind in professional wrestling. I'll say it. Paul Heyman is the greatest booker and one of the greatest minds in the world of professional wrestling, and I'll die on that hill. But you have these 3 men together, and you're like, this should be a great feud. And mind you, the match is great. It just has the wrong outcome.
Now, we also,
and I mean, really, even at this time, Brock was in a position where even if he lost, it didn't matter. Brock has been in the position of there's really nothing that could hurt his reputation. He could fucking lose for a straight year, and it would literally not matter at all. He'd still be one of the top guys in the company and always be considered a threat. And he was already at that point here 10 years ago. So.
Now, also on this card, not the shocking thing of Triple H being the special guest referee, but we also had a cash-in. Randy Orton cashes in on Daniel Bryan.
Doing what's best for business. And look, here's the thing. Everybody knows my opinions on WrestleMania 30. Is it one of my favorite WrestleMania main events because of Daniel Bryan and this being the catalyst to his story? Yes. I'm more mad at the fact that they try to retcon this and like, it was the plan all along. What are you talking about? But Vince is probably just in his ivory tower like, I want to do Cena and Randy again, but the crowd's going to hate it. Here we go. Here's a Billy Goat looking son of a bitch. Just sacrifice him real fast. And just the... I remember, like, this is around the time I got back into wrestling there a little bit. Like, I wavered a bit in the early 2010s. And it's like, oh, Daniel Bryan's challenging for the world title against John Cena. And I was like, oh, yeah, let's watch SummerSlam, sure. And then all of a sudden I hear the freaking voices in my head start telling me things. And I'm like, no, don't. And then they went ahead and fucking did it.
Yeah.
And
So Cena, I mean, this is Daniel Bryan and John Cena, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So Cena chooses Daniel Bryan to be his opponent for this SummerSlam. Daniel Bryan defeats him, wins his first ever WWE championship, and then immediately loses it. Because WWE gonna WWE. And why send you home happy? What's the point in that?
Yeah, exactly. Why, when the world is just full of pain and suffering? I'm sorry, you like wrestling because it makes you feel good? Here, feel the best about Randall Keith Orton.
Yeah. Yeah, this is already the second SummerSlam we've talked about where there was a cash in to close it and
And a disappointing one.
didn't send people home very happy.
And you know what? Any other time Randy Orton cashes in Money in the Bank, probably nobody would have said anything. But
Right.
unfortunately, it's on Daniel Bryan, who the fans wanted at the time for his first WWE Championship, just to take it right off.
How dare Randall Keith Orton ruin Summerfest for me? He should be
Okay.
banned.
I hope he comes back this year, personally. But
Oh
that's
same, of course.
all right. Once again, I feel like we need to talk about the pre-show match on this one, literally just because it has Rob Van Dam in it. So, yeah, Rob Van Dam had a match against Cesaro, apparently, in this one. You know.
Ronald Van Dam will really be putting in that pre-show work.
Yep.
He's
Mr. Pre-show.
Yeah,
haven't you ever heard him call himself that?
Yeah, he's the whole effing pre-show.
Yeah, he's Mr. PPVPS.
I will take no Rob Van Dam slander on this show, or I will minimize your box.
Oh wait, Mr. B-roll, a quick interjection. Since you are such a Rob Van Dam mark, right here on my wall, right here where my finger is a original ECW.
I hate you.
Rob Van Dam with I think it's the ECW US title. I think.
Yeah. So at the last thing I went to, they had, I don't know if it was the one with the US title, but they had one. And I almost bought it, but they wanted like $45 for it. And
I didn't pay $45 for that, and it's in great condition. I don't know. These freaking conventions just scalping people, man.
Yeah. But if it wouldn't have been Rob Van Dam, we wouldn't even mention that match. So we will continue on.
Indeed.
So SummerSlam 2014.
We'll get to a scalping here in a minute, but that's for the main event.
All right. We have presented to us Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz for the Intercontinental title. Paige versus AJ Lee. Rusev versus Jack Swagger. I know who that is, by the way. I know who that is.
He's right up there with Alberto Del Rio as one of the worst world champions ever.
Just give him a hat, and it works so much better. Just give him an obnoxious hat and have him say, "I like this hat."
It's not wrong. But I do have a question, and I will stop us right here. What in the world is a flag match?
So you put on both ends of the ring, you will have whoever is in that match, the flag of the nation that they come from, will be put up on a pole on opposite sides of the ring. And the first person to grab their pole and take their flag down wins the match.
That sounds dirty.
It is a match of a bygone era. When's the last time we saw a flag match? Good Lord.
Probably this time.
I feel like
it's probably been 5 to 10 years since we've seen one.
I feel like it's got to be like Colonel Mustafa era or something like that, like Iraqi sympathizer era.
Yeah.
Because you know what's real hot with the kids? The U.S. versus Bulgaria.
Yeah.
Man, the USSR, they're still alive and popping in the year of our Lord 2014, apparently.
You know what millennials love? Their life in America. Everything's great for us.
Hey, as a millennial, I can tell you, I love my life in America. It's great. I paid $20 for a bagel and a latte the other day, and I didn't go to a fancy place. I love it here. It's great.
Yeah. Inflation's great.
I feel so happy with inflation. It'll be good. I'll buy it. It'll be good for the economy.
Oh, good times, good times. We also see Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose in a lumberjack match.
Lumberjacks, brother.
Do I need to read off who all the lumberjacks were? Because I will.
No.
Because I have Wikipedia in front of me and I have the power.
It's just vacant 30 times.
Okay. Also, we had Bray Wyatt versus Chris Jericho. We have Stephanie McMahon versus Brie Bella. We also have Roman Reigns against Randall Orton. Brock Lesnar versus John Cena for the World Heavyweight Championship.
It's a mortar. It's a whole ass mortar over here.
Yeah, this one. Let's work up to that, though.
Yes,
let's work
true,
up
true.
to that.
Let's not let's not go 0-60 here, even though it is the biggest party of the summer. We need to invite people into the party, have refreshments before we bring out the jungle juice, you know.
Outside of that, the only other thing that really jumps out to me about this SummerSlam is the Brie Bella and Stephanie McMahon storyline. So before this B-roll, Brie Bella and Daniel Bryan are married. Brie Bella decides that she is going to quit WWE in protest because Stephanie McMahon gives Daniel Bryan an ultimatum that he has to relinquish the WWE Championship or have her fired. So she just quits. So slaps Stephanie in the face, of course, because there's got to be a slap. But if Stephanie's around, somebody's getting slapped, right? So it leads to this match eventually. And during this match, at the end, we see a little bit of fuckery from Triple H. And then we see Nikki Bella come down. And everybody's, she's coming to help her sister. Nah. She turns heel and turns on her sister.
It's that one where she does the promo to where she's like, I wish you died in the womb. And it's like, whoa, Nikki, what?
That escalated quickly.
Yeah, I am not a Bella fan at all. Period. Not even a little bit. But this is probably the most interested I've ever been in them. Was this storyline right here.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I will say I love this era of Stephanie McMahon to where it's like, let's have her just run roughshod over everyone and then she never gets punished for it. Ever. Just have her just ruin everyone's time, make it impossible to watch this 3 hours of Raw, and she's just never going to get punished for it, and we're all just going to be okay with it.
Sounds like what Vince does.
Hey, it runs in the family.
Sorry, not sorry.
She gets it from somewhere.
Yeah, it's in her blood somehow, and I highly doubt it's Linda. She was, was she still comatose? I don't know.
I mean, there's definitely something wrong with her brain, but we're getting real political on tonight's show, and I feel like we need to move away from it a little bit.
Good times. Good times were had by all. XLJ lets me run one show by myself, and kicks off.
Everything breaks down.
Everything breaks down, kicks off the air. No more YouTube channel.
All of a sudden, he just calls you, hey, Extreme League started talking about unionizing. What does it have to do with SummerSlam? We're going to slam and seize the means of production. We're going to sue.
All right, so let's talk about the murder at the end of this match, at the end of the show.
Yes, give me the
Brock
murder.
Lesnar absolutely destroys John Cena in this match. Uncomfortably destroys him. So many suplexes.
Yeah.
Is this the beginning of Suplex City? I don't remember.
I think Suplex City kind of started after he broke the streak.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, you are correct, Hambo.
After he broke the streak. This is the year of the streak.
You are right. Yes, so this is the year of the streak, and you are right. It did start here because that's when Brock Lesnar coined the term Suplex City.
Yeah. During this match, he just suplexed John over and over and over, and just randomly said in the match, "We're going to Suplex City, bitch," and thus a catchphrase was born.
I'm not sure if this YouTube short has popped up in your timelines at any point, but it's John Cena, and it's from a few years ago and a few years removed from this. He's there in the interview, and he's saying, like, before they went out, like the day before they went and they're planning their match, Brock said, hey, I had dinner with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and we came up with this idea where I just start suplexing you and just don't stop. And the way John kind of got like inside baseball with it, it made a lot of sense because like during the time I was like, that's awful. Like, why would they do that? But it makes sense once he explained it to where he's like, you just broke the streak. How do we show respect to the Undertaker streak while also having a match that's going to draw ire? And it would be, and he's right, you know, it's odd to have a 50-50 match with somebody after you just broke the biggest streak in probably sports history to a certain degree. And it wouldn't make any sense to go out there with John Cena and just say, we're going to have a 50-50 match. Like, no, that's not how it can work at all.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, and many people consider SummerSlam to be the second biggest show, like next to WrestleMania, I would say. So
at this time, Brock Lesnar, probably the biggest heel in WWE because he's just broken the Undertaker's streak, so everybody hates him. And of course, during this match, he decides at one point that he's going to sit up like the Undertaker and laugh in John Cena's face just to mimic him and piss off the fans even more.
And it's so interesting to kind of take a look at it in this time frame to where it's like a modern, like the legend of Brock Lesnar, not Brock Lesnar before leaving to do football and UFC and all that other stuff. I feel like that built the mythos of Brock Lesnar, but Brock Lesnar as a wrestler, I feel like this was the start of him. And I know a lot of people at the time were like, oh, like after this, he won the titles and he wasn't really around. And people had a problem with that. And like understandable criticism aside, without Brock beating the streak, I would say arguably we don't have Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. We don't have WWE in the place that it is. And like Brock kind of had to have the start of this dominating force within the company to where he just to steal a catchphrase here, to beat everyone and leave, because that's how you build matches like this to where, oh, we have a marquee match. We have a marquee person. I want to buy this pay-per-view because it's Brock Lesnar and John Cena. Like, why wouldn't I?
You know what? I'm going to argue that point, though, extremely, because I would argue that had Brock not broken the streak and Roman Reigns had, we probably would have had the Tribal Chief years earlier.
I see your point. In my retort, though, it was a different time frame for Brock Lesnar, for Roman Reigns, rather, because they were trying to shove Roman down our throats so much. And I remember when they did book Roman and Undertaker at, I believe it was Mania 31. I want to say 31. It was the roller coaster one. 34. That's it. People were
a lot of roller coasters tonight.
A lot. It's up and down. But like with but I remember when they booked that as the main event, everyone went, "Oh, they're gonna have Roman beat Taker and this and that," and like, yeah. And I see your point, and I do agree that would be a good rub for him. But Roman's mythos and story, I feel like, was booked around Brock Lesnar, and then they eventually figured it out. But without Brock specifically beating the streak, I feel like that takes the luster away from Roman's build to where he is today. Just in my personal opinion.
Sure.
The only other scenario that I've heard and what I've heard of my time of who could have and should have broke the streak. Honestly, there's only one. I'll say there's only one other one that was presented to me with the facts that I was given that seemed to make sense, and that was CM Punk.
Well, I also would have been okay with Bray Wyatt. At the time, I think if Bray had been the one, he'd probably be in a much different place than he is now.
And also, like, to kind of go back to our main event here, I know Cena and Brock, and rightfully so, have gotten a lot of flack for burying younger talent or not giving younger talent their time. But when they do lose, it feels that much more important. Like, this feels important for Brock Lesnar to be Brock Lesnar. Does Brock have the same luster as he has now, as he was at the height of, like, the Beast era? Like, do we have, like, the spoiler Paul Heyman manager? Do we have Brock build himself up to this, like, unbeatable monster? It starts here. And really, for me, like, it's weird to say, like, a squash match is one of my favorite SummerSlam main events, but it really is.
Interesting. Any more on this one?
No.
All righty. We summoned him.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
All right. So we are looking, I believe we're on 2015 now, right? I'm a bad host, so
Correct.
I got to look at my Wikipedia. Yep, we're on 2015 now.
Yep.
All right. So getting into this, don't worry. RVD was not on the pre-show. At least Wikipedia
Darn.
doesn't say he was, so probably didn't happen then. But we're good. So I'm looking at, we have Sheamus versus Randy Orton. We have looks like a fatal 4-way tag match. We also have Dolph Ziggler versus Rusev. We have Neville and Stephen Amell. Let's go. Love me some Stephen Amell. Great job on the documentary, narrating it. Love heels. Loved your working
Let's
era.
talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about this storyline. And I love talking about this storyline too, because I am also a big Stephen Amell fan, because I absolutely love the Arrow series.
It's dope.
And this is, Arrow series is strong right now, and he's facing off against Stardust, who is apparently a super villain because Stephen Amell is a superhero. So that's what we're doing here. But Stephen Amell, gotta say it, there are very few celebrities that come into wrestling and have a good match. Stephen Amell is one of the very few that I will put on that list. He's only had like 2 or 3 matches. He always looks great. He goes out there, puts on a great match. I really enjoyed this storyline, even though at the same time I hated the Stardust character.
Didn't everybody though? Even though Cody put his
Vince.
all into it. Not Vince.
Not Vince.
But also on the subject of Stephen Amell, I'm just going to get this one in here real quick. I hope he's at All In, just because he was at the first one.
Oh, yeah.
I
he
hope
has
so
to
too,
be.
because I'll be there.
No, you're going to All Out.
Oh, yeah. Well, have him be
I
at
was
all.
about to say, are you just dropping, like, by the way, I'm going to London?
Yeah, I was like,
wish.
I know he's going to be at All Out, but is he going to London?
I got to make contacts in London now. That's what you're telling me. Got it.
Yeah, got to get your
We all
passport.
do, brother.
Got to get that passport ready. And yes, I am stalling for very good reason, because the next match does include everybody's favorite, not Alberto Del Rio, but Ryback versus Big Show and The Miz in a triple threat match for the Intercontinental title.
Gotta love us some Cryback.
Barn burner of a match. One of the best Intercontinental title matches ever, of all time.
I don't know if you're joking.
What do you think?
Given the fact that Wikipedia is telling me the match was 5 minutes long, I'm thinking it was a shit show.
I mean, you should automatically assume it's bad just because Ryback's in it.
Oh.
Period. Doesn't matter what match we're talking about, really.
I mean,
See how naive I am? See how naive?
I mean, listen. I'm dyslexic and autistic. I can't read a social cue worth a damn, and let alone can I stand a Ryback match.
Somebody clip that. I want that clipped. I want it on a t-shirt.
I can't read a social cue or read.
Good times. We also have Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns versus the Wyatt family, Bray and Luke Harper. Also seen, and that was we also see Seth Rollins versus John Cena, winner takes all match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship and the WWE United States Championship. We have Team PCB, which is Becky Lynch. And my monitor's going crazy and it's driving me nuts. Charlotte and Paige versus Team BAD, Naomi, Sasha, Tamina, and Team Bella in a 3-team elimination match. I bet you just
now let's talk about this match real quick.
I was to say, I bet you just love that match, Hambone.
It's his
Well,
favorite
no.
match.
Here's the thing. The reason that I think we need to talk about it is because, as far as I'm concerned, this match could be considered the beginning of the women's revolution. You know, only just a few weeks before this, Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha are all brought up to the main roster together to form these teams here. And this is the first time we're really seeing them go out and wrestle. So for me, I feel like this is a big match worth talking about because to me, this is the beginning of the women's revolution. You know, we're only a few months away from give Divas a chance and getting rid of the Divas title. So this is where it began, right here.
Hambone, how do you know this? There's no Stephanie McMahon there to invent women. There's
What's that?
I said there's no Stephanie McMahon there to invent women. We all know Stephanie McMahon invented women.
Well, obviously, but
obviously,
she invented them just a few months before this. She invented women's wrestling. I mean,
yes, exactly.
I've never seen a woman on wrestling until Stephanie McMahon came along. So.
Who are Lita? Who's Trish Stratus? I know none of them. I only know Steph.
Oh mercy! I told XLJ that this after we'd done the prediction show. I was like, man, I have a lot of respect for you now. Hosting can be hard.
For real.
But continuing on, we also see Kevin Owens versus Cesaro and The Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar. Let's talk about it.
So let's talk about some more silly shit because it's SummerSlam, so something dumb has to happen. You got Seth Rollins, you got John Cena, you got winner take all match. Great storyline, right? Great match between these two. And of course, the way that the match ends is SummerSlam host Jon Stewart decides to turn heel and hit John Cena with a chair.
You ever been
so that Seth Rollins can get the win? Why not?
You ever been so much of a stan of Ric Flair to where you interfere with a match? We just really need to protect that world title the world title record apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently.
You know what would really I just keep sitting back and thinking that they're all sitting back and going, yeah, this is going to be a really good match between these two. But you know what would make it better? A Jon Stewart heel turn.
And then there's never a conclusion to it because Jon Stewart has to go back to his ranch in Montana or whatever he does now. Yeah,
we get nothing after that. So that was great.
Is Jon Stewart still alive?
Yeah, he actually has a really good show on Apple TV.
Apple TV, yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I love Jon Stewart. Don't get me wrong. I just don't need him in my wrestling.
It's true.
I also don't need him if he's going to be in my wrestling. He doesn't really need to be deciding world championship matches on one of the biggest shows of the year.
Yeah, we could have him fall asleep in a chair like Greg Valentine or Mike Tyson or something, just to have him take a nice nap.
See, what's funny is I don't think he realizes that's popping up as the channel.
Yeah, I was about to say, Dagby Roll, you're really trying to blow smoke up my ass here.
Yeah.
So, do you guys mind if we get into the main event?
Let's do it.
Okay, so first of all,
Hambone, take over for a minute.
So, one thing I want to bring up, this hair taker has, if I can learn how to, there we go. The hair taker has in this picture is not the hair he goes into the event having.
That's true.
And it bothers me.
That's very true.
Just have him just take a different photo. Like, it's fine.
Man, the last 10 years of Undertaker hair has been interesting.
It really has.
The last 10 years of his career.
Yeah, because first we had long hair taker, cool. Then we had Mohawk taker, and I was like, okay, this is different. I vibe with this. And then there's weird in between taker. It's okay. And then I think now we have Mohawk braided ponytail taker, which I'm like, not.
Yeah,
really.
This is Undertaker where he's got long hair again, but it's only on the top. He's doing the undercut, and he's kind of too old to be pulling it off at this point.
Yeah.
You know, like his hair is too thin to really be pulling it off right now, but he's doing it. He's got more hair than me, so what the fuck am I? What am I saying now?
Hey, I get you, man. I'm in the middle of that awkward stage right now. That's why I got the hat.
We don't even get to look at the graphic anymore. They took that away from us too.
How dare they? I feel marginalized.
Jesus. We don't even have a host right now.
I'll be the hostess with the mostest. So
let's do it. We both host our own podcast. We can host somebody else's.
We'll do it live.
Let's do this.
We'll do it live. So there's two things I remember from this main event. One is of course the GIF.
Yep.
Great A meme material. But then also the finish. I have to ask Hambone, like, how do you personally feel about the finish?
Again, I don't. You know what? I hadn't even thought about it until just now. It's just now hitting me. What is with all the fuckery in world title finishes at SummerSlam?
I know, right?
This has to be the third or fourth in a row where we're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, exactly. And then going into this main event, it's like, I get it. It's the rematch after the streak. You want to make it memorable, but like you can tell they're like, okay, we're going to turn Taker heel. So we're going to have him technically tap out to Brock, but then during timekeeper fuckery, he's going to lose, which that sounds like a fireable thing. And also it's like, there's no like misstep in the referee's count to lead to the bell being rung like he won it. There's nothing to indicate that there would be a miscommunication between Lil Nate and the timekeeper. So that's the part that I personally find frustrating about this main event, is that in theory, like in the heat of the moment, like when me and my friends were watching this, we all marked out. We're like, oh my God, Taker tap, but he technically beat Brock. Oh, this is crazy. Right. But the execution just fell so flat.
Yeah. Especially because Undertaker goes over Brock Lesnar after he taps out, and because Brock is he's just not aware that the match is being restarted, which is just silly. Okay, like you can say, okay, he's pissed off because the ref missed a call, whatever. But just the fact that he is so unaware that the match is restarted, and that's when Undertaker gets one up on him. And that's how we end this match.
You gotta love hey, happy Summers Fest. Here's this.
You know what's even funnier? Because we're saying, what is it about SummerSlam and these fuckery endings? Because the next one is even worse.
Yeah.
Next year's is even worse.
I would say in general, like with SummerSlam, the thing is that like it's a big show, but it's a big show that continues with story when like WrestleMania is more of like a bookend, I feel like. But they do it in the worst way to where it's like, oh, we can have, screwy finishes, which is like, that's not the point of this.
Right.
Like, sure, your B-level pay-per-views, sure, have a screwy finish that continues this to a bigger show. But to have your second biggest show of the year and then go, oh, whatever, we don't know, you figure it out. It's like, come on.
I wish WWE would release that shirt. That'd be a perfect WWE shirt. Huh?
Yeah.
Whatever. You figure it out.
You figure it the fuck out. I'm 78. I haven't eaten a burrito before. You want me to book this? I don't know. Where's Terry? He'll run this. He'll be the main eventer.
That's how I feel like they we're going off on a side quest here. That's how I feel like they react to the brand split right now. Huh? What brand split? When? No.
When that happened.
Superstar shake-up? We don't shake our superstars here.
Show me proof.
Not without. I'm sorry. Not without giving them hush money first. Oh, good times. Good times.
Are you back to hosting now?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. And the best part of that whole thing is it was the wrong number too. So.
Oh, nice. Are you still working?
Wait. Would I do a podcast while I'm still working? Would I do that? No, I'm
You're
a
an
good
I
outstanding
employee.
think you do
employee, Mr.
podcasts
Broll. You would
exclusively
never.
while you're working.
I whistle while I work, okay? All right. Let's get into 2016, gosh darn
Oh
it.
boy. Oh boy.
All right. And boys, we've been having so much fun. I do think we're going to, if we want to get through all of them, we got to pick up the pace just a little bit. So,
Good.
All right. I mean, let's be honest. There's only two things to talk about
yeah, let's
on
hit
this match.
bullet
We
points.
don't. You know what? We don't need to be running down the matches for
Yep.
everyone. B-roll. Fuck it, because half of them don't matter.
They've got Wikipedia. They can look it up themselves. And Rob Van Dam's not even on the freaking pre-show, so why does it even matter?
And listen,
Who
do we
cares?
really need information on Sheamus versus Cesaro? Or like Cass and Enzo versus Jericho and Owens? We really don't.
No. All right, so let's talk about it. There's two things here that we need to talk about. One, the Universal title match. This is Seth Rollins. This is Finn Balor. Still relevant today because we're still talking about it.
Yeah, we are.
Seth Rollins, he doesn't defeat. He injures Finn Balor, who will then defeat him to become the first ever Universal Champion and has to relinquish it the next day because of injury. But let's talk about the most interesting thing that happened here, which again, Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton in this. And really what's most interesting is what happened after. So this match, very awkward ending.
Oh yeah.
Brock legitimately busts Randy Orton open like bad.
And not like a slit, not like a little gash. There's a noticeable gap between parts of his skull.
Yeah.
And it's
Okay.
So during this time frame, I would go over to my friend's house. We all we're gonna get pizza and wings and eat all this bad food and watch wrestling. And we all just sat there with our bellies full of Little Caesars and Little Debbie's, just like, well, I guess I'll go home.
Yeah, the ending was very uncomfortable. So he busts him up with some legit elbows. The match ends on a technical knockout. And then afterwards, what's interesting is what happens afterwards backstage, which is that most people were not aware that this was the planned ending to the match. And Chris Jericho, he actually goes and confronts Brock Lesnar about whether this was real or if he just took liberties with Randy Orton out there. And it got so heated that Jericho had to be calmed down by Triple H and Vince McMahon and told that this was the plan because Jericho was legitimately going to fight Brock Lesnar over the ending of this match.
And if we all know Jericho's history with one William Goldberg, I would put money on Jericho actually in that fight.
Yeah.
Dang, he did get busted open.
Yeah. Oh, it's bad. Like it's like, listen, I know people complain about Moxley on AEW TV. No, that's nothing. Like it pours like water out of a glass, and it's just
that boy was
uncomfortable
leaking.
to see. Yeah. Another match I would love to touch base on real quick is John Cena versus AJ Styles. This is such an underrated feud for me, and I really think it's like Cena's last great feud in WWE. And it's one to where the right guy goes over in the end of the feud in AJ Styles, and to see like two pillars of wrestling to where it's like you have Cena and then you have AJ Styles, who basically has been the cornerstone of non-WWE wrestling for a majority of his career, and to have them face off together, like for me as a wrestling fan of my era, like this was just great to see. And also they put on great matches. Like you can't miss. They don't miss.
I thought Mello doesn't miss.
I mean, is James Ellsworth there? Then
Yeah.
Yeah.
It counts. Anything else on 2016?
Nope. Just after I watched that main event back, I cannot eat for 2 days.
Okay.
No ketchup.
Yeah, I mean, I made the mistake or the choice of having Little Caesars for dinner tonight, so I don't know. It's sketchy.
Mm-hmm.
I live in New York. We don't eat that trash here.
I'm sorry, I don't have a good. I'm in a desert. I'm happy to have my well, now it's no longer $5, but that's for a different podcast.
Yeah, I mean, hey, my wife did splurge and get the pretzel crust though, so that was pretty. Pretty tasty.
A crust as salty as our commentary.
That is right. Well, this looks like a fun graphic.
Fuck! I forgot gender.
You thought we were in the clear.
I thought we were in the clear, and then I see his hindering looking ass just looking like he looks constipated.
All right, so we got Alberto Del Rio, we got Jack Swagger. Let's add gender to that list. Great Khali. We're 4 of the top 10 worst champions already.
I will say this. Gender tried-ish. Like, Gender, the person, I believe, tried. But you can't make chicken shit out of chicken salad every time.
No. I say this all the time. One of the reasons that, again, this goes right back to our luchador discussion earlier. You know why Indian wrestlers don't get over in wrestling? Because their character is always, hey, I'm Indian. That was Jinder Mahal. Why can't they just be characters who happen to be of Indian descent? Companies.
I paid money for a house. I went to a WWE house show in my hometown around this time where Shinsuke Nakamura and Jinder Mahal was the main event. And I remember this is around the time AJ...
Did you get your money back on the way out?
Well, because I remember around that time, AJ and Kevin Owens were feuding over the U.S. title. And after that U.S. title match, I went, great, we can go now, right? And they're like, we're halfway through the card. I'm like, why?
How do we know?
Are we
at the end, though?
That's not like a main event. We're fine.
All right, let's talk about this fucking show. Here's the best moment. Baron Corbin gets beat for his Money in the Bank contract because he didn't deserve the win. So there's that. Let's talk about that. Then we get Enzo Amore in a shark cage, which he then strips all his clothes off of and escapes from. SummerSlam, they're great.
They're fantastic. For me too, like this SummerSlam really does have probably one of the better main events of more recent SummerSlams.
Mm-hmm.
With like that 4-way between Roman, Brock, Braun, and Samoa Joe. It's just all gas, no brakes, and I think the official match time comes in at like, 20 minutes. That's a quick 20 minutes.
And the thing that bothers me about that this main event is that Samoa Joe should have went into it as champion. He should have beat Brock Lesnar at Great Balls of Fire. But what do I know?
Could you imagine that, though, of the biggest highlight in Samoa Joe's career, and there's just a phallic graphic behind him, speaking of the WWE graphics department. Sometimes they make things like this that are pretty and nice. It's like, oh, it's graffiti because they're in Brooklyn. Very nice. And then there's just a dick.
It just happened.
B-Broll, are you hosting this thing? What are you doing? We're just going off down here, and you're not reining us in at all.
I am sitting here trying to figure out what happened in the Randy Orton and Rusev match because I blinked and I missed it.
Randy Orton? I don't know. What happened with Orton in this one?
Randy Orton beat him in 10 seconds.
Ooh, I don't remember.
Gotta love a good pee break match if you have a catheter.
I'm guessing bell rang, RKO, and
who was it? Remind me.
Rusev and Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Miro.
Yeah, I don't think wasn't this the one where I believe the entire storyline was that Rusev issued an open challenge. Randy came out, accepted it. That was the end. That was the whole storyline.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Mm-hmm.
Bada bing, bada boom. We're in Brooklyn.
I take 1 week off, and all I hear.
My life is just unionization and dick jokes, XLJ.
Also, that's bullshit, XLJ. You start every single. We're pulling back the curtain here, okay? We're gonna break the fourth wall. This guy starts every show with penis, penis, penis. So don't you act like This show's the only one full of dicks.
The penises you need to seize the means of dick production. Damn it!
Are we still on the air? Looks like we're still on the air. Okay.
We're doing it live.
on here?
Yeah, I think we're still on. Okay.
Just wait till my in-laws see this, and they're gonna be like, "Hey, Grant, can we talk about can we talk about this? Is it the unionization thing? No, it's mainly the dick jokes. Like, oh well, I can explain that. Yeah.
Does anyone
All
have
right.
any more they want to add for 2017?
Let's move on.
I've already hindered Ginger enough.
Sorry, not sorry. Moving on to 2018.
I love the laziness of just like we're just gonna do the same logo every single year.
Yeah, they've given up on that at this point.
Hey, it's different this year.
That's true. Well, this is the first year in a while. Well, no, last year was different too. For Nashville, they just used this because they kept doing it in LA. So they just kept using the same fucking logo.
Well, no, they didn't. This is whenever they moved from the Staples Center and moved to the Barclays Center.
Okay, well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Not talking about the logo. Talking about the car.
All right, let's talk about
the meat and potatoes of this.
Okay, so B-roll, do you know the whole talking smack thing with Daniel Bryan and Miz?
Yes, I have seen that.
Okay, so I mean, for me, that is the most interesting part of this show is that we are getting Daniel Bryan coming out of retirement, and he is facing the Miz after their whole talking smack confrontation and just the constant pot shots at each other. So I'm gonna be honest, and I'm sure that Extreme League, he may back me up here. I cried. Daniel Bryan came out of retirement.
Oh yeah, Daniel Bryan coming back from retirement is easily one of my favorite moments of 2010's WWE. Yeah. Like the fact that we thought we would never see him again, to him like finally being here, like amazing.
Yeah. So I mean, I feel like that is why that match really stands out to me. Not only for like I said, we had the awesome talking smack back and forth. We had that awesome moment, but just the emotion going into that match. Daniel Bryan coming back, getting revenge. Well, not really getting revenge because he didn't fucking win the match. But yeah, we got the match at least.
We got the match.
Pardon me,
You're good.
Yeah, sorry. My dog decided to cash in her "Hey, I'm going to cry at the door to let me in" contract.
Oh, it is all good indeed. We also see on this card Charlotte Flair defeats Carmella and Becky Lynch in a triple threat. Ronda Rousey versus Alexa Bliss.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when you could like Ronda?
I don't have a problem with Ronda. Everybody else does.
I don't have a problem with her. I won't say I like her, but I don't have a problem with her.
It just seems like her heart's not in it anymore. That's my main thing.
Well, I don't think it is. She's leaving.
Yeah.
There you go.
Put her friend over and get out. All right, so let's talk about the main event. The main event is Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar yet again. We get that again. Braun Strowman has the Money in the Bank briefcase. He comes out before the match, tells both of them to their face, whoever wins, I intend to cash in here. He doesn't because Brock stops him, but Roman Reigns wins this match after a whole bunch of spears and stuff. This is Roman's first WWE title win, but not only that, he also ends Brock Lesnar's record-setting win at 504 days in this match.
Nothing
for you. There you go. That's what I got.
Nothing for the travel sheet, though.
Little nugget for you. Little nugget. Anything else we want to talk about?
That's all I got.
Nah, this is kind of for me, this is like the boring era of Brock and Roman. At least like in the current days, Brock and Roman, like believe it or not, them just like flipping their dynamic made it so much more palatable, I think.
Very, very fair indeed. Well, we are flying in to. Are we on 2019 now? Is that where we are?
We are.
We are indeed. This graphic's not bad. using the same logo again, but at least we're getting some more colors and some more people on the poster here. Let's, you know. I'm just here to talk about the graphics, folks.
So we get a great. Let's talk about what everybody loves about this SummerSlam. We get what everybody has been clamoring for. Everybody's been asking for Goldberg to come back and have a match against Dolph Ziggler. I mean, who wasn't asking for it? Everybody was asking for it.
I wasn't even a fan at the time, and I was asking for it.
We get a solid minute and 50-second match. That's about double the longest Goldberg match there is. So he really put in the work that night. Nobody's helping me out here.
I don't really have much. I mean, yeah, cool. Goldberg. I was born in '96. I don't have much of a. I'm like, yeah, Goldberg's here. Okay, cool.
And I'm just the poor old newbie. Now I will say, when I was looking at the card for this one thing I found interesting, that you did get Bayley versus Ember Moon on this card. Nice to see, now known as Athena, getting it onto the pay-per-view, because it's still pay-per-view to me, dang it.
This is also the in-ring debut of the Fiend character.
Oh, yes, this is true when he murders Finn Balor.
Yep.
Essentially.
We also get, so the most interesting part about this SummerSlam for me is we are after the Kofi Mania, WrestleMania, so Kofi Kingston is champion, and we're getting a great feud that kind of flies under the radar because Kofi's title reign was not handled well, between him and Randy Orton, where Kofi is referencing, 10 years earlier, where Randy Orton legitimately held him down from going into the main event. B-Roll, are you familiar with that?
No.
Okay, so we're talking 10 years earlier now, about 2009. Kofi Kingston and Randy Orton are having a feud. Randy Orton, there's a very memorable spot where Randy Orton's getting his own NASCAR car for some reason. They bring it into the arena, and Kofi attacks him and puts him on the car and does the boom drop from the barricade in the audience and all that. But they have a match, and Kofi messes up a spot. It happens. And Randy Orton goes backstage and just basically completely dresses him down. And because of that, Kofi's planned push was halted. So now we're 10 years later, and they're bringing that into this storyline where Kofi is champion and Randy Orton is the challenger. So for me, this feud was extremely interesting because of that.
I can dig it. I can dig it indeed.
And I also appreciate, at least like in the Kofi feud, what they're trying to do here, which is like, oh my gosh, I just started talking. My dog has very strong opinions about Kofi Kingston's WWE title.
Hey,
excuse me.
Don't we all? But now, Hamba, let me ask you this, because a match that jumps out at me as well is also Charlotte versus Trish. Was that any good? Not really.
So here's the thing. I am not a Charlotte guy, okay? I'm just not. She's fine. But, for me, because I enjoyed that match because Trish is one of my all-time favorite women's wrestlers. Her and Lita are my two all-time favorites. So to see Lita come back out of retirement, have this match, having a couple matches, she's back now, which is insane that she's back now at 47 and still going out there having matches every week. But, this is at a time where we didn't know, she's going to come back again. So any extra Trish we were getting at this time was fine by me.
There you go.
I if you guys wouldn't mind, I would like to touch on this main event here of Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar. Just because like seeing the after effects of like the heist of the century and Seth Rollins like getting the title from Brock and Roman at WrestleMania 31, to see it like more metamorphosized into this, to where Seth Rollins is finally able to like vanquish Brock Lesnar and be more established. I know like Seth frickin' Rollins is probably the more like marketable name and things like that. And he's definitely able to show more of his personality with this character. But I believe like Architect Seth Rollins really did give us a glimpse of like what just a blue white meat babyface Seth Rollins could do, especially after coming out of his like big heel run with like the Shield breakup and everything like that. So being able to see him like vanquish this beast, and it's a pretty big like big fight feel. Like he's got the ribs taped up, and even Brock at one point is just flinging him around with his rib wraps too. Just like the violence that you don't necessarily like you don't need violence on the level of like Randy and Brock from their past SummerSlam match, but it still feels that way without me like losing my lunch.
There you go. Sometimes you just got to keep it simple, stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Any more on the 2019 SummerSlam? Now, we're going to get ready to get into 2020. Now, correct.
The Thunderdome SummerSlam.
Yeah, I was going to say, correct me if I'm wrong. I think this was pandemic, Thunderdome era.
It was that Panorama Pizza.
So,
here's the thing, though. You know what? There were some interesting things happening on this year, despite the fact that we're dealing with the pandemic. We have, well, I don't really know if, I guess Sonya and Mandy isn't that interesting if you're not considering what Sonya is going through outside of work, which is that she's being stalked by an actual fan who broke into her house. So she has to leave WWE, losing this match to Mandy Rose because she has to do some court appearances. She was supposed to get her head shaved in this match. It was supposed to be hair versus hair, but her lawyer told her you probably shouldn't be coming to court cases with a bald head.
Yeah.
So they changed the match to loser leaves WWE. Are you a fan of wrestling at this time, B-Roll? Is this where it happened, 2020? No?
No.
Got another year still?
So my first SummerSlam that I actually watched live would be 2022.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Okay. Even more recent. Jeez.
Yeah, I became a fan in November of 2021.
Okay.
So right around to give you a time frame more of like, so when Hangman was going into full gear with Kenny, I know we're talking WWE, but I mean,
just as a reference for the time frame.
This time frame. I'll say it right now. This graphics kind of it's sexy.
It's different. They put some flames on it. They tried. I will say too, a feud that I forgot that I actually really kind of liked in the pandemic era was like Monday Messiah Rollins and the Mysterios was actually such a really good feud. I think a really underrated feud. I think it got a lot of flack after the Extreme Rules and the fake eye and everything, but like really like I think this was some of Seth Rollins' best work. I wish he would revisit this. Yeah.
I loved this Seth Rollins because I always love, like, you know, when we get cult leader gimmicks or, you know, I'm a stable slut. I love stables. So the problem with this is even though the idea was great, everybody in his stable he kept bringing in could not stay in the stable. The Authors of Pain get injured, so they get taken out. Theory gets caught up in a little bit of Me Too action, so they take him off of TV. We just can't keep people in this stable to keep this gimmick going. But I love the Monday Night Messiah cult leader gimmick.
We did have Buddy Matthews.
We did. But two men is a tag team, not a stable.
It's stable in my heart.
Okay, fair enough.
And then I guess after this we have like the main event of, you know, Bray and Braun. And
but yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about what happened beforehand.
Yeah.
At Horror Show, again, we got Nye coming out. But we also have a what was it, a swamp fight where Bray is his cult leader gimmick again, and Bray drags Braun, presumably to his death, into a swamp where he does not reappear from, and that's how the match ends.
Yeah, gotta love that. And I don't know what the deal is with them trying to put the belt on the damn Fiend. Not everybody needs a belt. Taker was a great spooky character for a very long time. And he didn't always need a belt. Like, his World Heavyweight title runs were great. A couple of his WWF title wins were good. But, like, a character like The Fiend, where you're telling stories outside of, like, the pro wrestling scape, to where it's like, why is this demonistic Mr. Rogers wanting to wrestle? Well, to have people from his past pay for their past mistakes. Okay, great. And then we saw that with Cena at that year's Mania. Awesome. And, like, you had so much ability here to expand Braun as a character to where you just drop the ball.
Pandemic era definitely was wonky. Indeed. Looking over the rest of it, not really much more, I don't think, really to go over with us. Drew was champion.
Obligatory Randy Orton SummerSlam title match.
Yeah, we'll note it. Let it be stated on the record that we talked about Randy Orton had a title match during SummerSlam weekend. Summerfest, whatever you want to call it. Kids these days.
I gotta love the Summerfest, man.
Now, coming into 2021, we're talking Vegas, baby. Vegas. Wonderful Las Vegas. Now, catch me up on my pandemic history. Do we have fans here again?
We do.
I think this is, I'm pretty sure besides Mania, this is like this is the proper first like big show with fans returning.
Yes. You are correct.
We want
to not only that, but this is 1 week prior. This is where Vince retires.
No, I think that's next year, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're on 21.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yep, we're on 21. Yep.
So we get Edge versus Seth at this show, which is great.
Yes.
Great match,
Edge
great feud.
SummerSlam back. He brings back the Brood entrance, which is fucking awesome. Great match between the two. We get Goldberg again, so obviously this is a great show. You know?
Goldberg.
Because we just can't fucking let Goldberg go for some reason.
We can't ever let Goldberg go.
Let me ask you a quick question, Extreme League. Would you say that Goldberg ever drew a dime for WWE, honestly?
I would say from the casual fans, yes. Because I can guarantee you this, during this time frame of Goldberg and WWE, I had people coming to me who knew I was a wrestling fan saying, "Oh, hey, I heard Goldberg is back."
Really?
I mean, I don't know how much money it drew, but it drew attention. And I mean, I'm glad Goldberg was able to come back and kind of have his make good with WWE, especially after WrestleMania 20. But I mean, it's like if you've seen one Goldberg match, you kind of seen them all. I think he kind of had his crescendo with like Brock at, what was it, Mania 30?
Yeah.
3 or something like that. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's Goldberg. You kind of know what you're getting. If you like Goldberg, cool. If you don't like Goldberg, whatever.
This is where we get, at the end, the return of Brock Lesnar, but as a face.
Yeah.
We get Cowboy Brock here.
Yeah, buddy. And I will also say, if I'm not mistaken, is this the beginning of the Usos historic tag title reign?
It would be.
Because they beat the Mysterios.
Yep.
And it triggered me. One of them said, "We started this historic title reign by beating you and your daddy."
You're starting to get that wrestling brain.
I'm sure XLJ is somewhere off out in the distance. So proud of me.
out in the ether or maybe in the chat.
One or the other. Sliding into my DMs right now. Who knows? Who knows? So we had Edge and Seth, great match. Goldberg, Damian Priest ends up winning the United States Championship here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Anything else to cover before we get into the year of 2022?
No, 2022 is I have a lot to say about 2022. Also, they finally changed the fucking graphic. Thank God. They finally changed the logo, and it looks so nice.
Yeah,
2022 is the best SummerSlam ever, and it's my favorite ever. And here's why.
Because you were there.
Because I was at it.
Yep.
I would say it's my favorite, and I know we'll probably touch on the match card. I think this is the best Brock and Roman match, period. Point blank. There's a tractor. There's finally everyone is where they need to be, and everyone's charisma is turned up to 100. And I hate last man standing matches because it's just a lot of counting. But the start of it, when Brock pulls up at the tractor, he stands on it, he does the Paul Heyman thing, and just when he throws it to Roman, and Roman catches the mic and gives him the wink, I would like to think I'm pretty straight. In that moment, I was like, oh yeah. I'm currently all horned up on a Sunday evening.
I think one of the other things
was just so cool.
I want to be that cool.
One of the other things too that makes this match so enjoyable is the fact that we were all just so sick of these two. We were literally all just like, "Oh my God, we're doing this again!"
Yeah. But
we are all so sick of this. And they dangled, "Oh, okay, this is going to be the last time." And we were all like, "Whatever, like, okay, I guess we got to watch it again." But I think it's very hard nowadays to do something that has never been done in pro wrestling. But they did it in this match with bringing a fucking tractor into it. Never seen a farming tractor brought into a match.
Yeah.
So the fact that they were able to do something that had never been done in wrestling in a feud that we were all really sick of, and it was actually entertaining. It wasn't done in a stupid hokey way, like the way that, Brock was great driving it. Goddamn, they couldn't have went any better, with him picking up the ring and everything. So, and it was a great. I agree with you extremely. It's their best, most enjoyable, most entertaining match together.
And it's so purposeful too, because it comes into play with the match later. Also, I will say, just like the Usos feel more purposeful in this match. Like the Bloodline feels like they're much of a part of this match as
and
Roman
we get
is.
Jeff fucking Jarrett. How good?
Oh yeah,
is this SummerSlam?
Right.
Because we get Jeff Jarrett.
Special guest
Jeff Jarrett.
He had the guns out and everything.
Hell yeah!
And I will say, outside the slap nuts and the tractors, one thing I also do want to highlight is that Belair and Becky finally do have a proper singles match, because the year before that they did the squash. Yep. And Becky Lynch's shoulder separates and she pops it back in like 3 minutes in. Like, this isn't as they're doing the fight. Like, no, 3 minutes in, shoulder pops out of socket. She pops it back in and just goes right back at it. The man is just built different.
Yes, she is.
We get the debut of Damage Control after, which we were all very hopeful about.
The high was great at the time. The crash was terrible.
What's that?
I said the high was great at the time, but the crash was terrible.
Yeah, agreed.
So my question to you guys is this: since we're a year removed from Damage Control debuting, does Io Sky cash in Money in the Bank at SummerSlam this year?
No, don't. I'm going to stop the answers right there, because if you want to find out the answer to that question, I'm going to get a real cheap plug in here. You've got to tune in tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern to find out.
Plugapalooza, baby.
Because let's just say that Hambone makes a really, really good point.
I'll tell you after Extreme League when we're off. Yeah. When we're off air.
Inside baseball, I love it.
Yeah, and hey, You know this was a great SummerSlam because you have my boy, not Rob Van Dam, but Pat McAfee kicking some Baron Corbin, Happy Corbin, whatever you call him, butt.
I do say one of my favorite entrances is the men's choir just singing bum ass Corbin.
Hey,
Bum
long-term storytelling, they used to be teammates. I mean, look at it. Look at it. Sports.
I mean, look at it like this. Is there any bigger punishment than having to play for the Indianapolis Colts during the suck for luck era?
I don't watch sports, so I don't know what anybody's talking about.
Sports ball, yeah.
Arguably, Pat, during the suck for luck era, Pat McAfee was arguably probably the best player on our team, and he was our punter.
There we go. That's my quarterback right there.
That's right. Snap to the Slim Jim.
Also,
surprised we haven't brought up Logan Paul yet.
Oh,
Do
yeah,
we
that's right.
to?
We have the.
Must we?
Is this the what match? Is this the Miz? Oh, this is the Miz match.
The one-on-one,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Miz, it's fine. It's all right.
It's there.
It happens. It's enjoyable. I totally forgot it happened, and I forgot about it till you brought it up.
And you know what? This is Logan Paul's only WWE win so far. But if you watch the SummerSlam prediction show tomorrow, you'll find out if we think he gets his second.
Does he?
I love
Let's
it.
find out.
I love it. I love it. I love it. We're all about a cheap plug here. And it's just so crazy if you think back to SummerSlam a year ago. Like Dominic was still with his dad, not with Judgment Day, and then which is so completely different to where we are now.
Mm-hmm.
But wrestling.
Yeah.
Also,
What year that kid has had.
What I would also like to point out is really this is kind of we get a change of character from Becky too, which was significant as well because
turns face at the end.
Yeah, turns face, and then boom, the man is back. Let's go.
Huge crowd reaction for Liv and Liv versus Ronda, which I am not a fan. I am not a Liv Morgan fan, but I really enjoyed the way that they had her go over in this match. I thought it was creative. I thought it was clever. It made sense for her to beat Ronda the way that she did. So I enjoyed the ending of the match.
All right. And last but not least, not giving away too many spoilers because we have a prediction show tomorrow, right? But I will say, let's talk about this. Besides the card, do you think, especially you extremely, do you think we get any debuts or anything? Or like returns?
I wouldn't particularly say like returns, but I feel like something big has to happen. Not in the sense of Roman losing the title or like Brock actually beating Cody or anything like that. But this SummerSlam, I have a lot more questions going into it, which is good. I want that for a pay-per-view to where it's like, is Jay going to beat Roman? Is Damian Priest going to cash in Money in the Bank on Seth or on Finn? Is Io Sky going to cash in? I also agree with you. I think maybe Bray does come back. Who knows? But something has to happen here to where it's like an ice cream sundae. We got a good base of vanilla, and then we got a couple of good flavors on top, like some chocolate, some strawberry, whatever. But I need the whipped cream. I need the nuts. I need the cherry on top. What is gonna?
You are crossing a line right now. Sir.
What is gonna cream my nuts and take my cherry? That's what I want.
Hey, we have not crossed the after 9 o'clock line yet, so we cannot talk like that right now. Okay, sir.
We're still in the PG part, damn it.
Oh. And in future episodes, Extreme League Wrestling is now banned from Learning the Ropes podcast and anything Cold TV related. Thank you all for understanding.
Never.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
He's talking about unionization. He's talking about dicks. We can't have both.
Again, not after 9 o'clock. Oh, but this SummerSlam, it's kind of. You did hit I'm excited for it, but you did kind of hit the nail on the head though when you said you got that good base of vanilla, and like we're just hoping for those extra toppings, right? We don't need no wonky Alberto Del Rio crap finishes, okay?
If Alberto Del Rio shows up, I'm throwing my phone out of my window.
I'm going to be honest. Like I said, I made the joke earlier that last year's was the best SummerSlam ever, but I think that last year's was a good base because, I mean, if you watch this back and you see all the silly shit that we were talking about, it seemed to end last year. Last year, we had a lot of just straightforward matches. We had pretty straightforward finishes. We had good storytelling in most of the matches. We had good wrestling in most of the matches. So it was kind of like the end of the fuckery of SummerSlam era. So while we don't have anything, we don't have those extra toppings or anything that we know of so far for this card, I am looking forward to it because I feel like we're still in that era where we're starting to make more sense at SummerSlam. The matches all have a purpose for the most part. So I'm looking forward to it because I know that it'll be a bunch of great matches and we're going to get some answers to some questions that we all probably have.
Hambo, you mean to tell me you want wrestling on your wrestling show? You freaking Mark! How dare you?
I know, right?
I want something of the level of a man hatching out of an egg. That's good shit.
Yeah, I mean, why can't we have like? I can't even think of a current. Can't even think of like a current celebrity to bring in to guest host and interfere in a match.
Well, I mean, Kid Rock's gonna be there. I mean, come on.
Hey, there we go.
We need Lizzo.
Turn him heel.
Oh, see, you know what, Extreme League? The first one that came to my head was Lizzo because of all the shit that's happening. And I went, don't say it. And you went there. I respect it.
I'll make the joke. Damn it, we're past 9 p.m. Eastern time. I'll make the damn joke.
You took the bullet for me there, and I appreciate it.
I'll take a bullet for you any day, sir.
There you have it, folks. Well, gentlemen, we've come to that time. We did the gauntlet.
It was time for so long.
We did it. So I survived hosting my first
one more song.
Learning the Ropes by myself. We're still on the air. It's a Christmas miracle.
We're live, pal.
We're live. We're still live. Now, this is the point in the show where we like to not only say so long, but give you, lovely gentlemen, the opportunity to get your shit in, basically. Tell us where we can find you. Tell us what we should be looking out for. Any podcasts, YouTubes, all that stuff. Hambone, the floor is yours, good sir.
Oh, my God. I got so much crap to plug. You can find me on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, at notorious_bone. You can find me on Instagram and Threads under my shoot name, Thomas.Cummings920. You can find me on TikTok right here. Hambone, couple A's, couple O's. You can find me on my wrestling podcast, Ego Drip the Wrestling Podcast, with It's Lord Lovelace, Nick, and Khan from the 703. We are on Twitch and YouTube live every Sunday at 7. We discuss the best drips and drags and other stuff about wrestling throughout the week. You can also follow the Ego Drip Podcast TikTok at Ego Drip Podcast. You can also go follow, if you listen to wrestling podcasts and you like Conrad Thompson's podcast, then go follow the ad-free shows TikTok at ad-free shows because I am running it now and I'm trying to get me a job. So go follow, go like all of them. I'm going to be at StarCast working it. If you're going to be there, come find me. I don't know who I'm working with yet, but I'll be there. Come say hi. I'll also be at All Out. And if I'm there, say hi to me too, but only if you've washed your ass. And I mean inside, not just over the cheeks.
Yes. And
as
we've talked about on previous episodes of the Lawyer, back in the early days, digging into the archives, deodorant. One for the, and one for the.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. We educate the people here on Learning the Ropes. I'm not the only one learning here, folks. It's all of you too.
We're all learning how to wash our ass one day at a time.
one day at a time. All right. Extreme League. Let the good people know where we can find you.
I'll start off with follow ad-free shows. Help my boy Hambone
Yeah.
here, because it's all of our dream to work in the world of professional wrestling. This guy's doing it. I don't know how he's making the connections he is, but that's a topic for another day that I'd love to get in there with. You can follow me everywhere at Extreme League Wrestling. I'm not on X or Twitter. Well, I am, but I'm never going to post there. But it's Extreme League Wrestling everywhere else on the internet. I just dropped my new documentary on CM Punk versus the Elite if you want to check that out. I'm also currently in production for my next video. I'll give you a little hint. I'm feeling pretty oozy with it. So I'm very excited for that. Also, wash your ass and spay and neuter your pets.
I agree
There
with
you
both
go.
of those things.
I honestly cannot think of a better way to close the show. And I do agree with Extremely. That was what I was thinking of in the transition. I forgot. Even if you don't like the ad-free show and you don't like Conrad Thompson, which I mean, what's wrong with you? But I mean, you probably like Hambone. He's a pretty likable guy. I mean, so show the man some love, show him some support. It takes 2 seconds to drop a follow, hit that double tap. Come on, drop a comment, if you're feeling spicy. And as a reminder for here on Cold TV, Learning the Ropes is going on a little bit of a hiatus. We will be coming back right around the time of All In. We also will be celebrating our YouTube Cold TV 2-year birthday. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So be on the lookout for announcements about that, as well as, and part of the reason we're taking the break is because we will have tons of awesome content coming your way. So we're going to get prepping for that because we're going to All Out, baby. I'm meeting my brother Hambone. I'm excited. It's going to be an awesome
Hug. So
we're going to hug. We're going to hug.
Hug.
We're going to touch bellies. We're going to touch bellies because we both have bellies and we're going to hug. So we're not doing no side hug crap.
No
side hug. Until next time, folks, I'm Mr. B-Roll. Thank you both for joining me, and we'll catch you all later.